Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Joe Ciaccio here. Today, I want to talk about using a survey sheet. Years and years ago, when I first learned the business, we had this little survey sheet we had to go by, and the purpose of it is to keep you on track. A lot of us with ADD, you kind of tend to go out in left field and you go to right field, and you kind of tend to forget things to ask, and then the things you ask you don't write down. And with this sheet, I feel confident to say that, especially for new agents that are coming into business, agents that don't have a lot of experience, who've been doing it for a while, they do it on a part-time basis and are transitioning into a full-time basis, this sheet's going to keep you on track of the questions to ask. Now, the form is in a Word document. You can add something to it, you can change it around, you can kind of tailor make it to fit the way you want to do things. But the whole purpose is to keep you on track and to ask the questions. I also feel confident to say that when you're asking people these questions and you tell them, I'm going to take a little survey or a little questionnaire to see what you really need, to find out exactly what is necessary for us to talk about, everything is confidential. And when you have this paper here in front of you, it's 3 pages. And I put a little extra room in it, so if you really want, you can probably squeeze it into 2 pages. But I like to have it kind of big, so in case the client wants to look at it, I've got no problem showing it to them. I've got the answers already written in, whether it's a yes or a no, or for a beneficiary who they're going to pick. Yet the whole reason is to do it to keep you on track. Some agents use it as, I'm going to see the client today, get all the information, come back and give the client all of their different options and programs that are available. Or some agents who are more confident in what they're doing and know the underwriting process, they do the survey, they answer the questions, they extract information from the client, then they go on for the presentation, application, and the close. Now, everything we speak about is confidential. Whether you do this or not, strictly your choice, yet I think it's something you should think about, especially if you're having a little bit of rough roads, or the patches aren't looking too good, the field isn't watered that well. This will help keep you in order. And when you have this stuff in order, and I've got no problem giving one to the client so they can follow through it with you, and you write the answers down, so they know exactly what questions you're going to ask. You're not going to throw them no curveballs about how much money they want to spend, because that's something you can do later on once you get this information. I'm going to kind of go down it quickly. Basically what I say, I like to do a little survey or questionnaire to where I get to know you a little bit better, to where we can kind of figure out what is best for you. Bam. Have you been to a funeral? Have you attended a funeral? Have you had to pay for a funeral? Have you gone to a funeral to where the people couldn't pay for it? And all you want to do is kind of get them to start speaking with you, because everybody has got a sad story. My brother didn't have enough life insurance. My sister-in-law didn't want to buy it. The kids had to borrow money. So what you're going to do is that when they tell you these answers, you're going to write these answers down, and then you're going to use them as you're speaking with the person, bringing them in closer to you, such as, I'm very happy we went over the sheet here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to eliminate the situation your sister-in-law was in with the kids when your brother passed away, to where your kids are not left in that situation there. We're going to go over some different programs with you. Okay? Have you been to a funeral in the last 2 years? Are you considering a full traditional funeral or a simple cremation? Simple cremation is a lot less expensive. All depends on how much money you want to spend, or what your religious beliefs are, or what your heart wants you to do. Besides you, this is a very important question, besides you, does anybody assist you in making decisions on life insurance or final expense wishes that you have? And the reason you want to ask that question up front is to where at the end they don't tell you, I've got to talk to my kids about it, I need to talk to my brother about it. So let's say they say, yeah, I need to talk to my kids. So you know something, I said, that's very, very smart. I said, I've got 2 kids of my own, and I did discuss it with them after I made my own decision. I'm the father, as you're the mother, or you're the father. There's choices in life that we have to make that our kids need to know about, yet they don't need to help us make the decision. It is our responsibility to take care of our final expenses. It's our responsibility to be adults, to teach our kids the way things should be done. Well, Joe, I discuss everything with my daughter. So now, depending on how much guts you have, you say, well, this apartment that you're living in, or this mobile home you're living in, or this home that you're renting right now, did your kids have to give you the okay to do it? Oh, no, I do that on my own. I said, well, this is the same thing. This is going to be a life-changing event for a child. Children really do not like to speak about their parents dying because the mere fact is it hurts. Most kids say, Mom, Dad, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Well, at that particular time, your child may be doing well, yet 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, you have no idea when this day is going to come, what their financial obligations are going to be and what they owe money for. I decided on my own, that I was going to take charge of my life and not leave my children a burden which is not fair to them because they have their own families. So you want to kind of squash out, I want to talk to my sister, my brother, my aunt, my uncle, the priest, my pastor. You want to think about all these things you can say to where you can squash it out now in the beginning instead of them using it at the end. God forbid you pass away right now. Do you have a program set up for you to take care of all your final expenses? No, I don't. When this day comes, who would you put to be in charge to take care of all your expenses and all your family matters? Husband, wife, your child, a parent if they're a young person, or your boyfriend or girlfriend. How are your loved ones going to pay for this if you have nothing set up? Or how are your loved ones going to pay for it if you've only got a policy for $5,000, an average funeral today is 10 or 12, and the longer you live, the more it costs? So I'm glad I'm here today to discuss with you what options you have. I don't have any life insurance. I'm going to wait. I don't need it. Well, totally understand that there. Do you have money in a savings account so in the event something happens to you tomorrow in a car accident? What about your checking account? Do your kids have that amount of money right now laying around to pay for those expenses? I'm talking to you on the video now, yet when I'm at home, I've got more compassion. I'm going a little bit slower. What in the event something was happening? Do your kids have the money to pay for this here? My kids don't. So this is why I took it upon myself to get something to where they wouldn't be left responsible with all those bills. Let's say they do have a program in force. Let's say they have a policy with another insurance company. Say, fantastic, you're one of the very few people that I deal with who actually have made this big step. Can I ask you, do you have the policy to where we can review it? Because you may have enough now, you may not need to spend any more money and get one. Usually when you tell people to get it, sometimes they'll get it. But I like throwing in that little extra bump in there. You may not have to spend any extra money because you may have more than enough. I'm telling them that there because I want to see the policy. when they got it, the face amount, the premiums, and I'm going to start asking them questions. Who do you have as your beneficiary? Your son Anthony? That's right. And your face amount, do you recall what that is? It's $10,000. Either you're going to say yes it is, or you're going to say, well, it's only $7,000. And you show it to them. Because a lot of times what agents do is that they'll tell a client they're getting immediate benefits for 10, keep the premiums the same, and then they'll get a graded or modified for 7,000 or whatever the amount may be. So a lot of times people that you go to the house, they haven't even opened the policy up. You'll see them go get the policy, you've got to open it up, unzip it, and they haven't even looked at it yet. So in a way it's kind of good for you to look at it with them to where they understand what they have, what they need, and in the event they've had the policy for a long time and their health is good, you may be able to get that policy's cash value out, put it in their checking account, and start them another program. Because there's a lot of carriers out there that are much more expensive than we are, and sometimes you can get them a much better program. Okay. Kind of tell me about your health. Like in the last 3 years, and I've got a bunch of stuff listed here. Heart attack, stroke, cancer. Okay. What about any COPD or emphysema? No. Okay. Are you a smoker or non-smoker? Okay. In the event you pass away, do you have a will already pre-made so something happens? No, I don't. So in the back of my mind, that free will, I'm thinking about rural neighbors and I'm thinking about foresters. I'm not going to tell them about it then. The mere fact is they may not qualify for it. Okay, they only may want a policy for $5,000, all they can afford. Rural neighbors minimum is $7,000. Okay, so you got to kind of know what their health is before you start blabbing pricing or blabbing out what carrier they're going to use. So okay, let me continue down. We're almost done. I see you're 67 years old. You have Medicare. Yes, I do. Who do you have your health insurance with? United Healthcare. Are you happy with it? Yes, I am. Very happy. You have the HMO or the PPO? Okay. From there, at the end of this here now, you're going to have a form, okay, for them to fill out if you do Medicare Advantage, for them to fill out to where you can come back and see them during AEP, which starts October 15th. So now you've got another lead to come back with and talk to them about. Okay? Are you happy with your co-pays? You happy with your hospital visits? What about your prescriptions? Does it come with a free gym membership? Do you get any over-the-counter benefits? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You write these answers down. You say, fantastic. All these carriers change their programs. Some change them a little bit, some change them a lot every year. So with your permission, there's a form I'm going to have you sign later, which will allow me to come back and visit with you to share with you all the new programs that are coming out to save you some money and to get you some better benefits. Is that all right? 99% of the time I'm going to tell you yes, because there's no premiums involved. Okay? Continue on. Has anybody ever talked to you about a hospital indemnity plan? God forbid you go to the hospital, your health insurance only covers, you have to have co-pays. Let's say United Healthcare here in Tampa is $295 a night. Let's say you're in the hospital for 3-4 nights. Do you have enough money to pay for that? No, I don't. Well, we can talk about a little hospital indemnity plan that'll help you with that there. Do you have any people in your family who've had cancer? My uncle had cancer. My mother had cancer. Okay, we have cancer plans we can talk about. So all you want to do is start going through what you can offer them. An accidental program, a child program, a standalone grandchild program. You're gathering all this information from them. Final expense, how much they have, how's their health, smoker, non-smoker. You're just gathering information. So now what you're going to do when this is all done, now you're going to sit and put this in your mind and say, okay, where do I want to start? Okay? Medicare Advantage, you got to wait 48 hours. You got to follow the rules. Be careful. Sometimes they got secret shoppers out there. You never know. So tread lightly on talking about Medicare Advantage when you're talking about something else you went to the house for. You can talk about a Medicare supplement. There's no rules on that. But Medicare Advantage and the Part D for prescriptions, you got to give them notice that you're going to come talk to them about it after they call you. Or if you visit them like this here, you got to schedule an appointment for 2 days later. Tell them these are just the rules that Medicare and Medicaid has, and I've got to follow them because I don't want to break no rules. And they'll understand. Now, outside of the issues that we've talked about, you have any other health issues? Or is there anything else that you were thinking about when you sent this card in that you wanted to talk about? They may say yes, they may say no. What they're usually going to ask you is, how much is it going to cost? Okay? I don't have any money today to start it. Say, fine. Say, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to review everything we talked about, go over everything, and then from there we're going to sit down and we're going to visit to see what is best for you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Okay. We're going to see what's best for you. So now you know if they have life insurance, what company they have it with, what their payments are. Hopefully you could have been able to review it. If they have no life insurance, did you put any sense of urgency that they need to get some type of life insurance? The most important thing is that as you're speaking with them, you do a little soft closes. This is something you're looking for. Does this make sense for you? Is this making you feel a little bit more comfortable that you sent the card in? I'm happy you did because now we can sit and talk about it. No, I'm not going to buy nothing today, Joe. No. All this stuff here, I don't want to buy nothing today because I really can't afford it. Say, no problem. I'm here just to give you the information that I've gathered. From there, we can talk about it. And then from there, you're going to do what you want with that information. Now, you're not leaving the house. You're not leaving the house. Is that a smoke signal? Are they trying to throw up a smoke screen that they can't afford it? Are they really being truthful with you that they can't afford it? You don't know. Don't judge a house. Don't judge a book by the cover. I've gone to houses before. Went to a lady's house just outside Tampa. Didn't live in a great house. Lived in a mobile home, a double wide mobile home. I'd been in the business maybe 5 or 6 years. Still not great at what I was doing, but I was doing good. I was making a living. And every person you run across, you're going to learn something from. You're going to make a boo-boo. You're going to make up. You're going to do better. Went to her house, and the guy I was working with says, do you ever talk to anybody about doing annuities? I said, man, the people we deal with, annuities? What are you crazy? He goes, Joe, you've got to ask. You never know who's going to be there. Never going to know how much money they have. Because a lot of folks that are seniors have money, yet they're afraid to spend it because they don't want to be poor like they were when they were younger. Or even if they had money when they were younger, they don't want to have less money by letting people know they have money or living extravagantly. This lady was probably 65 years old, maybe 66. This was before I got into doing Medicare Advantage. Matter of fact, I think it's before Medicare Advantage was even out. I said, we've gone over this stuff here. I wrote you a little $5,000 life insurance policy that you said was kind of at your budget. But do you have any money in your savings account or in a CD that you're not making the interest on it that you really would like to have? She paused. I paused. I'm thinking, did I say the wrong thing because she's not answering my question? She says, well, I've got money in a savings account that I'm going to use for emergencies. So I'm thinking $500, $750, $1,000. She goes, yeah, I've got some money in my savings account for emergencies that I keep there. It just kind of makes me feel good. So, okay. I said, are you making any money in your savings account? And back then you're probably making 1%, 2%, 3%. And she says, well, I'm making a little bit of money. I said, do you know how much you have in there? She goes, well, I got an idea, but hold on a minute. Let me get you my savings account statement. So I'm sitting there just relaxing, breathing, kind of thinking about when she gives me the paper, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? How am I going to extract more information out of her? How am I going to talk to her about an annuity? What am I going to say when she comes back? So all these thoughts go through your mind, which is a normal thing. But it's called practicing. So when you hit the mother lode, you're not as nervous as you were the first, second, and 10th time you said it. She says, okay. So she hands me her paper, and I'm looking at it. And I said, okay. So I already gone down. I already see what she has in there. I said, okay. It's got your full name here. You do banking at the First National Bank. And I said here that you've got $52,000 of money in here. She goes, yeah. She said, I've worked my whole life and I've saved that money. You know how certain numbers stick in your mind? $52,000 plus a couple dollars on top of that there. And I said, well, have you ever thought about keeping that money at your fingertips, yet putting it in another source to where you make more money? She goes, no, I never thought of it. So I went down the memory lane about how annuity works, interest on your interest, everything's tax deferred, all that stuff there. What do you use the money for? Blah, blah, blah. She says, well, I can make more money than what I have in the bank. I said, yes, ma'am, you can. She says, oh, well, what do you think I should do? So now you cannot get greedy. You can't get greedy now because you got to do a statement whenever you do an annuity on what their income is, what their savings is. It's called a suitability paperwork. That if she's got $52,000 and I took all $52,000, the insurance company says, no, Joe, you can't do that. And I was just a rookie doing this here. I said, let me make a phone call to a friend of mine. So I called a guy that I work with. I said, I'm over here with Mrs. Jones. She's got a little bit of savings. She's got $52,000. What do you feel? I told her this was my manager. What do you feel is an amount that will be suitable for her to make sure everything goes smooth? He said, Joe, $25,000. Just keep it light. It's your first one you're going to do. Your first one. I said, okay. So I said, ma'am, based on my manager's suggestion, we've got to make sure I take care of you. You've got some money there for emergencies. He recommends only $25,000. She said, well, how does it work? And I'm going to all this another time. How does it work? What do I got to do? How much money do I get? Well, this is before index annuities. Way back then, this was just a plain old annuity. You dump it and run. And I said, well, it works this way here. Put the money in, it grows, it grows, it grows. You can get 10% out per year in the event you need the money, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you put she had no kids, you put your niece as your beneficiary on this life policy. Do you want to put her or you want to put somebody else? I pulled out no paperwork. I've done nothing. I'm just speaking with her. I didn't go in for the attack. I didn't go in for the kill. She says, well, I want to put down my niece and her brother, my nephew. Do a 50-50. I said, okay. I'd have no annuity paperwork with me. I'd have nothing with me because I was out there just throwing the dice, seeing what could happen. She says, you know something, Joe, I kind of like that there. She says, what do I have to do? I said, well, I just did one yesterday afternoon, and I used my last application. What if we make a date and I come by and see you tomorrow around the same time, 2:30? I said, okay, Joe, I'll be here. I got in my car. I live in Tampa. She was in Newport Richey, an area called Moon Lake. Moon Lake. Left her house. I said, I'll come back tomorrow at 2:30. Went to the office I was working in. Talked to the guy that had on the phone with me. I said, give me a rundown of what I got to do, how I fill it out. He highlighted a couple of things. He highlighted where she had to sign. Did everything. Okay? Went back to her house a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky and all that stuff. There, made sure I had no coffee that day because when I drink coffee, I get kind of wound up. Went to her house. I wrote my first annuity for $25,000 by accident. Same thing you can do here. By accident. If you do not ask questions or you're afraid to ask questions, this form here is so easy for you to follow. This is a form that the company gives us to make sure we don't forget anything. This is the form the company gives us to make sure we answer all of your questions. All this stuff is down here for you. All of it's down here for you. So from there, I want you to start using this here. Think about it. It's going to take you 5 minutes, but now your warm up, you're getting a little bit closer with this client. Everything is personal and confidential. The company has me do this here. Everything we talk about between you and I. You're asking about life insurance, health insurance, hospital indemnity plans, CDs, annuities, everything that you have the opportunity to offer is on this page here. Think about it. If you want a copy of this here, it's in the back office. It is number 32 in the agent sales manual. Look it up, print it out, start using it. As you're using it with a client, give them one to look at to where it's beneficial for them as well, and they feel a little bit at ease that they're going down the list with you. If you have any questions, give us a call. We appreciate your hard work. Love you guys. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.